Here we are. Walmart in Worcester. There is a reason why we've come here, and to the best of my knowledge, this may still hold true. If it does not, then feel free to show me otherwise. Because as of this recording, to the best of my knowledge, as well as what I know from reaction, this is believed to be by far the biggest COVID-19 outbreak from a brick and mortar department store. This Walmart had 81 employees test positive for COVID-19 when they only had 51 positive cases. They did shut the place down and cleaned it out thoroughly. But after all the testing was done, 81, I might have said 83, 81 tested positive for COVID-19. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk in the store, go in the long line, which of course I will tell you this is recorded after the fact. But I was right about there-ish, right where that lone woman is standing now. So you're going to see what I see. And let's go and see, is it a normal store? Are there issues? Well, let's find out. I figure I'd start outside, and there's the long line just to show you what I had to deal with. There was another entrance on the other side behind me, but it was the same. Look at the line. We're not going to stick around and show you this thing the whole time. We're just going to show you where we were and watch some of it move. Here we are in the line. And while I'm showing you this part, I want to point out two things. For some reason, the picture always comes out crooked, even though I install the camera straight. And two, it never came with instructions on how to set the date and time, so it is what it is. So the only thing you're seeing that's accurate is the runtime, the 3:32 that you see there. So, waiting in line. Still in line, the fun and the joy. And it was about a minute 30 into the video when I reached the back of the line. And as you can see, in 8 seconds, it would have been 8 minutes. And as you can see, some people are filing in. We're getting there. Sometimes the things that I do to make a video, and so few people see it, although these get halfway decent views for a smaller channel anyway. Here we are, 11 minutes in, and we are almost ready to go into the Walmart. This really sucks, but this is a historic Walmart for an unfortunate reason. So here we go. We are now being allowed in just a moment. And in we go. Let's see what we have. We have to wait for them first because they were there. So off we go into the Walmart. Now we will not go down every single aisle, as that would kind of look a little weird. But we're going to go down some of the ones that I think might yield some answers as to what could possibly be causing this. So, just walking down some aisles and looking down every now and then just to see if there's anything strange or odd. So, right now I don't really see anything out of the ordinary, so maybe it was just a matter of being very unlucky. It could be just that. And of course they got the way arrows, which of course people ignore as well. I admit if there's something right at the end of the aisle and it's going the wrong way, if nobody is right there, I will go against the arrow. Or if no one's around, I'll just do it anyway. But typically, if people are around, I will follow it. And when I do these videos, ever since the Searstown Mall, well, it's called the Mall Whitney Field, but us old timers still call it Searstown Mall, I have been exercising the required safety precautions. So that means fun trying to breathe through a covering. So this is the lawn and garden department, and we're not going to go too far into this. Just want to look in, just see how things look. Got quite a few plants, quite a few missing holes, but that's something you're going to see that's pretty strange, and you'll see that later on. So it's fairly big and empty, which is kind of surprising. You got all this floor space, and they didn't space out the aisles a little bit more to accommodate some more of this floor space. These aisles are fairly wide right here, and again we got the do not shop this way, meaning don't enter, and shop this way, meaning to enter. So as you can see here, quite a few holes. A lot of emptiness, but then again, what you would expect to find in this store, in which you would find a lot of empty shelves, will be no surprise. But I'm surprised at other things that are empty, like a lot of the home and garden stuff. And look at those gigantic ceiling fans. This place is extremely windy. So it makes it feel pretty good. I mean, the temperature wasn't all that bad to begin with, but it just makes things feel better. So now back into the main store. So through the door, somebody's there already. And of course, we know it's not going to happen. As much as we try, we attempt to not get people in the shot if we can, but that's not always possible. We don't need to go down the toy department all that much, so we're just going to walk this way. Find a lot of empty space on the right, which is kind of interesting, being that it's toys and puzzles. And now walking down one of the main aisles. Still, it doesn't really look like anything out of the ordinary, except for the fact that it's really weird that the shelves are empty in spots. So we're going down one of the main aisles, and I'm seeing something that might be a reason as to why the Outbreak was as big as it was. And I was surprised at the very few, totes that were there in the Rubbermaid section. These aisles are very close to each other. Most of the Walmarts I've been to, the aisles are at least a couple feet wider. It seems everything is stacked up, because the building isn't really as big as a Super Walmart, but they're trying to make it a Super Walmart. I believe this might be part of the reason why the Covid-19 disease spread like wildfire in this building amongst the employees. Worcester has so little land in which they could build things. It's been taken up by so many old mill buildings, apartment houses, and what have not. All these highways, it left very little room to build this Walmart, so it's not very big, but they try to make it big. Underwear, surprisingly not much. Kind of interesting how that is. So this time the camera actually was put on straighter, but the thing is, once it's on, you gotta leave it alone. So it still lists a little to the left, but it's not much. It's not all that bad. So, quite surprisingly, a lot of holes in shoes, a lot of holes in underwear, of all things. Quite interesting there. Decide to go down one of the major aisles. Now, the men's and women's clothes look fairly normal. All of them tend to be a little crowded in some spots and a little open in others. So that was something you would expect. One thing I did not expect is the Walmart grocery store actually goes along the far left wall to our left, and it wraps around and comes down where we're going through right now. Of course, cleaners and stuff you would expect during this time. And you would think there'd be a lot of toilet paper. But take a look. This is toilet paper. Still, July 3rd, 2020, when this was recorded. Plenty of detergent there. Like I said, it's interesting to see what holes are in the product lines. It's just amazing. But I think the thing that's really hurt this place is, again, the fact that a lot of the aisles are way too close to each other. We'll look at the grocery department later on, and that one, where the deli and all the specialty areas are, that is actually pretty wide open. So we're heading for the electronics department because I always like to look at the electronics department at these Walmarts. Although I find this one kind of interesting because it seems to be broken up. And again, you gotta deal with the arrows. What's interesting is you have two wrong ways next to each other, which kind of goes against the standard layout. Typically it's every alternating one you can go a particular direction. You have two that go in the same direction next to each other. Yeah, the electronics department, it has plenty of stuff there, and its spacing is pretty good too. So one of the things I like to do in these Walmart electronics departments is go around and see what kind of arcade one-up cabinets they have in stock. Not that I have room for any more, but I'm just curious as to what they have. Because every now and then I see different cabinets you normally don't see at a Walmart. Because people in the Arcade 1-Up community on Facebook occasionally show a picture of a selection that has games you normally don't find. And we just saw the drones back there, which was kind of interesting. I never known them to carry them, but then again, I don't step into Walmarts all that often. And again, we got a few holes in the TV department, which is kind of interesting. And you got your video games eventually, like right around here, and this is all cordoned off. Again, holes, kind of interesting. And there's your Xbox and PS4 clearance section, and here's the Arcade 1-Ups. It seems they only have 3 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Mortal Kombat one. Just interesting to see they only have those 2 choices. So in terms of the electronics department, I've seen what I'm going to see. A little product that was left on the floor. And again, here you can see, over here you can see the wide aisles and the restroom over there. And we turned away from it, but some of the women's clothing was definitely packed in way tighter than normal. So I think, like I said before, I think this is pretty much the case as to why the COVID virus amongst the employees spread to so many people. It's just, everything's just way too close together, or almost everything. Like I've said, some aisles, they're halfway decent in size. It seems, like I've said, they're just trying to cram too many things in too small of a building. So now we're heading into the grocery department, which we kind of been in. And here's another toilet paper aisle, which actually did have toilet paper. It's kind of weird that 2 aisles and one of them you could. So like I said, I find it really strange that the grocery department aisle actually goes along the left back wall there, like I've shown, and then it wraps around and goes midway down the very back of the building. That's very interesting. It shows they're trying to make things, they're trying to make things like a Super WAL-MART. But again, you just don't have the space. And that's when they start cramming stuff. Now, when we look over here to the right, the specialty areas like the delicatessen and your packaged foods, there's plenty of room. Big, wide aisles, which the rest of the store doesn't really have. And I decided I'm going to head down this aisle because this is the one I really want to try and get a look at some other parts of the store. And there will be some overlap as we try to look at some other things as well. So we're going down to the front of the store. Again, these grocery aisles are nice and big. And here you go, you got the meat department. Got the fancy quote-unquote arch setup that was over there on the right. Now it's behind us. And there's the signs, don't enter, don't shop this way, as they say it. And then signs, shop this way, which people, and I'll include myself in one instance, where there was nobody, ignored it. And then there's the bakery. Very nice. And this is a really nice grocery store. I really like how this one is. And there's the other entrance. And that too had a ridiculously long line to get in. And now we're going down one of the frozen food aisles. Now it's unfortunate that this guy stocking decides to take up the whole entire aisle pretty much. Very tight squeeze. I mean, I know you're doing your job, and we appreciate it, of course, but you gotta leave a little room for the people to walk through. Just a little. Here's the fruits and veggies. Again, very wide, big open spaces, especially where the registers are. Very well done, very well thought, very well managed. So we just walk down a little bit. You got the self-checkout over to the left. Nothing out of the ordinary there. A lot of space between each individual register. Now we make an about face and head the other way. Going down the aisle where the registers are. And again, plenty of room. So it's just amazing that you have the grocery section, which is spaced out fairly well, and then you got these areas that are not spaced very well. And there's someone who didn't quite get the concept of setting yourself up for a proper distancing between one and another. We know we don't like to use the official term. It's something that a lot of people don't care to hear because they're sick of it. And everybody's sick of this, literally. So, this is what we've seen here, and now we're gonna go and, because nobody was in there when I was, we're gonna check the state of the restroom. Again, reiterating, absolutely no one was in here, otherwise I wouldn't do this. The cleanliness is fairly good, except for some graffiti not shown on the back of one of the stalls. Like I said, I wanted to get this done nice and quickly, and I did touch something, so I'm washing my hands just to play it safe, because it is a little bit tight in here, but that's expected with some of these somewhat older Walmarts. And here we are back out in the open. again, I'm just surprised that how busy this place is, that restroom was completely empty and I was able to get a video of its condition. Again, not bad. However, I had to wash my hands, like I said, because I touched something unexpectedly. And here's the furniture department. And again, just empty shelves for some unknown reason. And again, that was because I was trying not to get people in the shot, but as you know, it's nearly impossible. Empty spaces over there. It's like if it were a store closing, but it's not. Then again, a lot of industries are shut down or at reduced staff because of the whole pandemic going on. So now we're going to just cut through both the ladies and girls as well as the men's and boys department. And you can see that just leaving stuff on the floor, that could be, I know it's not always perfect, there's always going to be something on the floor here and there, but that could be a contributing factor. Overall, I would say the store was pretty clean. But here we are again. Things are just way too packed in here. Now, like I said, a lot of these, at least up front, did not appear crowded, but this back section is a bit much. Although that wasn't too bad. This area isn't all that bad. It's just that back shelf along the men's department that seems to be a little overdone. And here we are, again, the shoes. And now we are working our way, for the most part, out of the building, but decided to go check the fitting rooms. It may appear that they have them closed off. Over here, they have a sign for the customers. Now, I just briefly read it, so if you want to read it, pause the video. Some of it you might not be able to see because of the reflection. So here again, look at that. I mean, look at that aisle right here. Way too close to each other. Perhaps they could have made the grocery store just a hair smaller. And I mean just a hair. And you would have had all sorts of room. Because as you see here up front, plenty of room. Plenty of room. And that is pretty much what we have here. Going by the customer service. Not many people in the line there. And we're heading out the same door that we headed in. As you can see, they're letting a bunch of people in. So I guess the occupancy has dwindled quite a bit while I was through here. And that's what we got. Alright, we are back. And I did find one issue that I could tell you. This is not a very big store. It's got a very small footprint. However, I notice a lot of the aisles... Someone's showing off. A lot of aisles seem very close together. And I could see that this close confines could have spread the COVID virus really, really fast. They did clean it up pretty well. I'm so surprised that there's so few things on some of the shelves. So that's the look at the worst, to my knowledge, the worst COVID-19 hotspot in a brick and mortar retail department store, the Worcester WAL-MART. And what I can go by is I mentioned that they had 80 plus COVID-19 positive cases amongst the employees, and people from across the United States heard about it. Like I said, feel free, if anyone has broken that record. The way things are now in the southern states, especially Florida, Texas, California, that may fall, and that would be unfortunate. Not that 81 here was a good thing to begin with. So that's it. George F551 saying, hope you enjoyed and have a good one.